experience at safety. So they're very close to their roommates, and you see the way that they're manifest on things that you can tell.
I think you see the communication, and obviously that you notice they watch a ton of tape together and they talk. Right, so as soon as the offense breaks a huddle, you see them communicating kind of what they've talked about, or even before the offense breaks a huddle, you see that communication starting, which is huge between safeties, because not only are they thinking big picture what the offense is doing, they're also communicating with multiple levels to our defense. So you see that comfort level that they have with each other and how easily they communicate.
Hunter Waller pick things up pretty quickly, or what are your early impressions of him?
He has. You know, I've been impressed. Obviously, physically moves really well, smooth, great size. Going to get to the point in camp now where you show the physicality a little bit more, but he's had very few mental errors. It's just cleaning things up. You know, he's pushed a lot of different things at these guys early, see what they can handle, knowing that it's going to continue to get tighter and easier for them. But I like the way he's handled it, and hopefully you see him just continue to rise as camp goes on.
What? Another 2 second there. Seems like he's getting some reps. I know he's with Nick maybe on Tuesday, getting a couple of reps there, and then looking in with some other contributors from the youth past. What do you see from Darryl where he's been able to put himself in the position to see those?
Number one, you see he understood his job. Right? He was able to play his responsibilities and get to the physical part of the game really fast, you know, and he moved up quickly because of that, and now he's getting in there with those over the groups, well, bigger menu of what we asked. So just has to continue to push the mental side of the game, because physically, you know, he's got great motor and is very physical, uses his hands well. So love the way he started. He's got a long way to go to be impactful this season, but he's off to a great start.
Has Spencer Lytle showed you anything different in outside linebacker? It looks like he's been a lot more physical as a pass rusher this fall.
Yeah, I think you go back to the spring for Spence, and he took a huge jump. Just first stretch that he was really available for a long stretch, and you saw the growth that he took in the spring and the confidence he gained from it, and he's carried that over to fall camp, and you're seeing kind of where he ended the spring off. He started off day one in that position, and hopefully continues to grow, and like I said, the main thing is gaining confidence in all of his skills and what he can bring to us.
How many outside linebackers do you feel good about right now? Guys you feel like you could trust on that season opener?
Hard to say. I think that we're going to have a lot more depth at the position than we felt like we did last year. You know, we felt last year we got into a rut where we weren't making as many splash plays, and part of that came from guys playing a little bit more than maybe you wanted to. We didn't have as much depth as we wanted, and you know, the challenge to that group is to take that next step as an entire group, and it's been frustrating not having a couple guys getting many reps yet to this point, but we expect the next week and a half for that competition really to rise and for those guys to push themselves to really separate and find out who it's going to be.
Rodas Johnson and James Thompson Jr., they've been getting a lot of reps in the D-line of the second group. What can each of those guys provide? What do you like?
Yeah, Rodas, first of all, with Rodas, he high energy, you know, plays with a ton of effort. It's just trying to tighten him up. You know, he still does some things that'll get you beat. Just comes from a great place, being aggressive and trying to make things happen. Just got to tighten up his techniques a little bit, but he's going to bring a lot of energy to the field when he comes, which is a lot of fun. And so that's his focus right now, is just consistency aspect of it. And James Thompson is obviously a guy last season we started to feel really good about, and then the injury happened. So trying to be smart with him and work him back on the pace he should be, and hopefully have him ready to have a bigger workload once week one starts, but just trying to be smart, because the physical side, he does some impressive things with that big frame, and hopefully we have him just continue to grow, because he did miss a lot of time, and you're just trying to be smart about that.
Matt Henningston has kind of been one of those guys that's progressed each year in his career here. Have you seen another step from him?
Yeah, early you just saw the consistency, and then he always finds a way to make a big play. right? So I think he's more athletic, he's more gifted, he's more talented than sometimes he's given credit for. He's always had that consistent side to him, and that's why we loved him, and he was on the field very early in his career. Now it's just continuing for him to find those opportunities to be dynamic, right? Whether it's pass rush, whether it's in the run game, he's done it. He's had those moments in the past, and great leadership in the room. He's kind of the guy with the most experience, and I think the rest of that group feeds off of him.
Porcio is another guy who seems to always be in the right place at the right time, making those blast plays. What has he been doing to kind of set himself up for success this year?
Yeah, I think early on in his career he flashed the playmaking ability, and now he's showing a lot more consistency. He's playing a little bit better in space than he did, especially a couple years ago. He's kind of gradually improved in some areas. So now you're seeing the playmaking come out more consistently, and it's a lot of fun. He's been physical when he's needed to do that. He's made plays on the ball. He communicates well. So I like what he's done. He's really stood out early in camp.
He's continued to rotate a lot of quarterbacks. There's a lot of guys with experience. Do you feel like you've got a third guy that has emerged at this point, or how do you view kind of where you're at, knowing you've got Hicks and Caesar and some other?
I would say we're at the position we love a lot of guys, a lot of snaps in that next group of guys. But I wouldn't say anyone's just been head and shoulders. I feel like it's rotated a little bit. One guy will have a good day, or two guys will have a good day, and then maybe the next day you don't see them. But I feel like as a group they're playing well. It's just the challenge of camp is for somebody to try to separate, and we know we have a lot of flexibility with what Fan was able to do last year, playing in the slot and having the ability to play outside. So really just looking for as much depth as possible. And I've always rotated a lot of guys in camp. That's a position that you need as many guys as possible. Going through camp, going through a season, you need to stay fresh. You need to be able to attack and challenge receivers. I like where we're at today, but I would say it's a little too early in camp to say a third has kind of jumped ahead of the pack, but I think they've all had their moments.
I don't know where Armand Williams fits in, but he's been around the ball a lot. Has he been a surprise of camp so far?
Yeah, high energy, loves the game of football, always talking, always playing fast. He's starting to learn the game, play more consistent. For whatever reason, the ball finds him. He's physical. He shows up in the run game, like what he's doing as a young guy. He's still a young guy learning, but you feel him when he's on the field, right? You see the energy, and guys feed off of it. So he's got to continue to push, and he's got a very veteran group in front of him, and I think he's pushing some guys, which is a lot of fun.
What does Mike Mascalunas just mean to your inside linebacker room? He's a guy that has chosen to be here for 6 years now, but could probably be playing a lot of snaps at a lot of good schools.
For sure. Credit to him. He loves this place, he loves his teammates, and he's been a leader for a long time, whether it's on special teams and even in that linebacker room. He's just a rock, very consistent, plays both inside backer positions for us, and has stepped in the past when we've needed him and played consistent. So love what he does. He allows you to really push some young guys to challenge and compete, because he's a guy that doesn't need a million reps. You know what you have in Jack, you know what you have in Leo. You really have that third guy that you feel really confident in. It's credit to him. He's done a great job throughout his career, and he said the number one way is just how he's led and how he takes a lot of players, whether it's defense or special teams, under his wing.
I got time for one more, guys.
What area of the defense do you feel like you've seen the most growth so far in fall camp?
I would say D-line. Going back to the spring and early, just wanted to be more aggressive than we've been in the past, be a little bit more disruptive than we've been in the past, and I think they've accepted that challenge. Coach Cabe coming in here has really tried to set the tone for that group. Not that we were doing bad things, right? The scheme is very similar, but just trying to find more opportunities to be dynamic, right? I think the mentality in that room got a little bit, we got a lot of playmakers around us, we just got to do what we do. Well, I don't like that. I want those guys to have the mindset of being disruptive and making those plays themselves. Put the linebackers out of business, right? Don't let them get all the tackles. And that's been the challenge. And that's where I'm okay with a little bit of freedom. I'm okay with a little bit more energy right now, and as we get closer and closer to the season, you got to tighten it up, and they have to understand when is the right time to take that chance, when is the time to just be right, and that's what we're going to continue to teach throughout fall camp.